Direct examination is especially challenging. And it's challenging because so much of what is required during direct is not natural, and yet you of course want your examination of the witness to sound natural. Here's what I mean. Consider your brain. When in everyday conversation do you naturally ask an extended series of questions to which you already know the answer? Never. We don't do that. It's not natural. Consider your voice. In conversation, when you ask a question, it's because you are curious. Your voice, therefore, has that tone of curiosity. But not during direct. During direct, you know all the answers. You have no curiosity. In fact, the rule is never ask a question to which you do not know the answer. So it's so easy during direct for your voice to have no tone of curiosity, so you don't sound interested either in the question or the answer. And then consider your body. During the direct examination, you are the only person standing up. And yet much of the time, while your witness is talking, there's nothing to do. So you have to be very comfortable standing very still. And that's not natural. That's not what we do in conversation. And at the same time, you have to be ready to leap in and ask your next question. So if you want to do a good direct examination, you have to have conscious technical control over your body, your brain, and your voice. Let's start with your body. During direct examination, you need to be comfortable standing very still. So, plant your feet. Stand still. Make sure you have a comfortable stance with your feet about body width apart. Make sure your weight is evenly balanced on both feet, and that will allow the trunk of your body to remain still. Then you need to get your hands ready to gesture. So you need to go to a ready position. Lift your hands to waist height. And consider this ready position. All the gesturing we do is pretty much at waist height, so that's why it makes sense to get the hands up from below the waist to the waist. How your hands intersect in the ready position has some variety. They could be palm on palm, the reverse of that. Your fingertips could touch. You could gently hold these fingers between the thumb and fingers of the other hand. It doesn't really matter because no one is looking at your hands. But your goal is to be able to keep not only your feet, but your hands still while your witness is talking. What about when you are talking? Well, while you are talking, you want to be able to gesture naturally. Consider the cliche of direct. Make the witness the star. But how do you make someone a star, especially your average witness who is not going to possess any star-like charisma? One way to do it is with gestures. If you want the jury to pay attention to your witness, throw the focus to the witness with your hands. So what is the questioning gesture? You know what I mean if I just simply do this action. Right? So there's the questioning gesture. And it has at least 5 variations. We can do it with both hands. What do you do for a living? We could do it with one hand. How long have you done that? We could do it with the other hand. Where do you work? Sometimes, if the question is not that important, don't gesture at all. But if it is a really important question, gesture bigger to signal that importance. So that solves the question of what do you do with your hands. And when you are gesturing towards the witness, it is frankly the ta-da gesture. Look at the witness. You are throwing the focus to the witness. So with your feet planted and your hands ready to gesture, make sure your eyes are focused on your witness. Don't start talking while your eyes are still down in your notes. Look at your notes, come up, focus on the witness, and you'll find that if you focus your eyes, it's so much easier to focus your brain. I have 3 suggestions for your brain during direct examination. Since you have to ask open-ended questions, make sure that you can reel off this list of interrogative words: who, what, when, where, why, which, how, and those 3 words of instruction that are also useful: describe, explain, tell us. To prepare for a direct, make sure you can reel off those words: who, what, when, where, why, which, how, describe, explain, or tell us. If you can do that, you're ready to ask the open-ended question. Then help your witness, your jury, and frankly yourself by putting a headline on each line of questions when you move from topic to topic. And rather than introducing a new topic by simply saying, now I'd like to talk a little bit about, which sounds a bit wishy-washy and undercommitted, how about the word focus? You are the director of the direct. You want to direct our attention like the movie director focuses the camera to tell the story, and therefore, what if we use the word focus sometimes as that headline? Let's focus on the weather the day of the accident. Let's focus on the moment when the accident occurred. Now let's focus on what happened after the accident. It's a very purposeful word that will get your witness and your jury to focus where you want them to be. And a final caution about direct and thinking during direct with your brain. Be very careful of using did you and were you constructions. In other words, be careful of starting with a verb. Because as soon as you start with did you get there at 10:15, the witness will answer yes, in effect validating your testimony. You want to ask the open-ended question, what time did you get there? So be careful of did you or were you or any question where you're asking a verb first question, because chances are it's at least somewhat leading, if not downright leading. So that solves the problem of your brain during direct. Now let's add the voice to direct examination. Once you've got your body ready to go and your thinking brain ready to ask those open-ended questions, with your voice sound curious. Recognize that, of course, you are not curious. Now, I'm not suggesting that you sound fake and phony, like you're pretending you don't know the answers, but that little tone of curiosity is what we use in conversation all the time. Pick an attitude, sound curious. If you want the jury to be curious about your witness, sound curious. If you want the jury to like your witness, sound like you like your witness. In other words, think about your tone of voice. Now, think about gestures and their importance to the way that we speak. The emphatic gesture pulls from our voices the emphatic word. What time did you get there? And the word time is emphasized not only with the gesture but with the voice. Look at that again. What time did you get there? So here's the simple truth about gesturing and speaking. When you ask a question, the gesture lasts as long as the question. In other words, you open your mouth to speak, you open your hands to gesture. The gesture stays open until you're done talking. And as a result, it's available as part of natural gesturing to emphasize the words that are important in the entire question. And at the same time, you are, ta-da, throwing the focus to the witness. You are making the witness the star. So, put it all together. Plant those feet, stand still, get the hands ready to go. Be comfortable doing nothing while the witness is talking. When it's your turn to talk, open your mouth and open your hands to gesture. Sound curious as you do so. And if you do that, you will be able to conduct a dynamic, credible, and persuasive direct examination. Now, stand up and practice some of those skills.